Fire!
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to the final presser. With me here, the captain, Rem Prima. On his right, that's the head coach, it's Street. So if you have a question, just indicate by raising your hands, then you can fire away. Alright.
Let me just, with the guys, just that's what the feeling of the drone test. How the guys are feeling, and the guys are satisfied, but they could have thought it could have made you wonder.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing, obviously, like to lose a test series, but you know, we were behind a lot of this test match, so you know, credit to the guys for fighting. You know, we're quite happy with the draw in the end, and we didn't feel like we had enough runs on the board to be able to declare. And it's probably not a wicket where you can bowl a team out in 30 overs. So, no, all in all, quite happy, and a lot of positives and a lot of good individual performances.
I was going to ask about any thoughts of the declaration. Was there on the declaration? Did the pitch hold up more than you ever thought it might have in that way?
Yeah, definitely held together more than we thought. You know, it started staying a bit low, but it still didn't do as much as we thought it might on day 5. There was thoughts of declaration, but you know, we know it's quite hard to probably, you know, take 10 wickets in 50 overs, you know, let alone 30. So, you know, after Raz got out, you know, we almost had to shut up shop there and, you know, just take overs out of the game to make sure we couldn't lose the test match.
The first test match, obviously a lot of mistakes. The second test match just looks as if there's a greater desire to fight. So, does it take time to get into a test series or a specific series? As we've seen today, guys are able to go out there and really blunt a good bowling attack. But now you don't have cricket until you play a day-night test with a pink ball. So what happens now? We see what happened in the first test match happen in that one-off test match in PE in the Windy City.
Yeah, I hope not, actually, but definitely the more you play, and I said it in the last press conference, the more you play, the more you realise how much time there is in the test match. Perhaps in the first test we were a little bit too aggressive and we didn't back our defence against the spin, but we got a lot better as we saw in this test match. You know, we grind the West Indies bowlers, you know, especially in that second innings, you know, and they, you know, same thing they did to us. So it is a learning curve, but you know, hopefully we'll take this experience into that South Africa Test match.
Just to finish that,
If I can just add to that, we had Pakistan A were scheduled to come, and they were going to be part of our preparations. You know, they would have been a step up from Logan Cup. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and so, you know, we didn't really have the level of preparation we would like to have had leading into this. You know, we had to play domestic cricket, and it is a big step up from our domestic cricket into going into you know, test series.
and just to my last question, sorry, I meant to add on, sorry gents, is that particular test match, there's a lot of South Africans that are coming back. Dale Steyn, Bernard Philander, Fakiso Rabada will be fit, Morne Moko. Do you expect to go in with a lot of young, exciting young bowlers, or is it the same sort of contingent that you have right now, because it's going to be quite an exciting experience for everybody involved?
Look, I think we'll hopefully have a few more guys available to us. Carl Mumba has been out, and I'm not sure where he'll be. We've got some good guys, you know, performing well. You know, guys like Richard Ngarava. Tendai Chatara was injured, so it wasn't really a consideration. But hopefully he'll be back in a consideration for that Test series, and we know what he's capable of. So, yeah, hopefully a few more options. Brian Vittori is also due to do his have his retest. So I'm hoping we'll have a few more options available to us come that time.
Oh, David Joe, I'm sure you knew, but now you know that you're out maybe 3 times out today. But was it a case of say, well, Walter also was supposed to be out on 11 and you only on score 110. You were out first ball, that first ball that you faced, and then 2 legs before Charles said that you go their way. Was it a case of saying they also maybe got the benefit from the bad decision from the umpire?
Yeah, the test match could have been a lot different. You know, if Holder got out when he did, if that was out, and we batted again, you know, I mean, we could have mopped up the tail a lot quicker, and we could have got a long way ahead in this game. Then we definitely would have bowled again, and you know, would have been an exciting finish to the test match. But it's one of those things, you know, it can happen, and you know, I think both teams used the review system quite poorly actually. But yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah, I just think that when we pay a lot of money to have those, you know, systems in place, you know, and I think that, you know, people, you know, watching, you know, on the telly can see that the incorrect decisions were made. So I think maybe it's something that will have to be discussed going forward. You know, as to how we can best utilize what's in effect a very expensive system to have more correct decisions out there, and so that you know, at the end of the day, the result is a reflection of the game and what's really happened, rather than, you know, hopefully, you know, 1 or 2 guys getting away with maybe a decision because the other team has lost reviews.
Do you feel that the DRS system of having 2 reviews are enough in Test cricket? Do you think they should be extended a bit more in terms of number of reviews that are given? That being the first part. And then secondly, in terms of our batting, we saw a collapse of wickets just after at one point we were collapsing 14 for 3. What really do you think is the key thing that we need to as batsmen to communicate when we get out there in terms of how we're playing? Malcolm Wanda played a few loose shots.
Yeah, firstly on DRS, I think if you know, like I said, if you're going to spend that much money, you know, I think certainly 4 or 5 DRSs, and if they're necessary to be able to use them to get the correct decision, I don't see any reason why they should limit it to only 2. And then secondly, with regards to the batting, yeah, look, I think the guys bowled well up front. There were a couple of good dismissals, you know, from them in terms of, you know, good balls. Like Hamilton Masakadze got a decent ball, you know. So yeah, just I think for us, our batters, it's just the guys who get out to soft dismissals, and that's really what we're trying to change. But I think if you look at the last 6 Test innings, I think we've got over 300 quite a few times. You know, I think we've had really one really poor innings, but other than that, we've batted outstandingly, which is good to see that. You know, we've been in the hunt. Sri Lanka, we could have and probably should have won that Test match. We had our opportunities. We had one poor innings. Our one and only poor innings in 6 innings was in that second Test match. You know, in the first Test in our first innings. So yeah, look, I think all in all, lots of positives, some good scores. Raza doing well, Chakava coming through today, Hamilton Masakadze's big 100. You know, the wickets the guys have taken. You know, Carl Jarvis, you know, in the first Test was outstanding. Chris Mpofu with ball and also bat. So yeah, there's been a lot of positives that we can take forward, and hopefully we can prepare well for our Boxing Day Test.
Okay, finally.
One final one. Just Chakava had a difficult match behind the stumps. How important was this not for him? And is the wicket-keeping position still settled, or is it a question for you?
Yeah, look, I think it was a tough wicket, you know, to keep on, and especially, you know, Graham and Chisoro, you know, TC are very. They've got a lot of variations. TC bowls quickly. Graham's got googlies and stuff, and with the wicket being up and down and turning so much, it's tough to sustain that for the length of period. So yeah, look, I think Reggie would like to have had a slightly better game behind the stumps, but I thought the grit he showed today and the composure and that determination to stick it out was really, was exemplary, and hopefully he can build on that. And we did talk about that, and I know Lance Kleesner spoke to him just about trusting his game, trusting his defense, trusting his attacking shots, and not trying to play in fast forward. So I thought he had a really good game, and hopefully he can continue to build on what we saw today.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Of course, Stuart Law, he's going to just assess the series and any other questions you have in relation to what transfer.
Stuart, first series win under Jason Holder. How do you rate that achievement, and how important was a fairly small series against Zim to the progress of the team?
Yeah. Look, I think you're disrespecting the world of cricket, mate. Zimbabwe are full of quality cricketers. To come here and beat them in their own patch, I think is a tremendous effort. Our boys in the first test, we went about our business, won it in 4 days, and I think we outplayed the Zimbabweans, in that first test. In this one, it was a closer contest due to the surface we played on. Our boys, we toiled hard. We got into a position of strength, and today we just weren't able to get those breakthroughs. It's tough enough taking 20 wickets in a test match, and when the pitch offers you nothing on the last day, seemed to offer more on day 1 and 2 than it did on day 4 and 5. So, look, credit to Zimbabwe. They played brilliantly today. They fought really hard, but I'm super proud of Jace, the way he's led this team, the way our boys have played, and particularly very happy for a number of our players, but in particular Devendra Bishu, who man of the series, coming from England after a tough series to come here and get man of the series is a great effort. I thought Shane Darrich has been outstanding. His glove work behind the stumps, and that 100, his first ever, was a great knock to watch. So very proud of our boys.
Was the energy there? Just before the end, I saw guys, I think that they're probably just maybe I would say giving up. Was the energy still there to continue?
I think you saw right at the death that there's a few guys diving in the outfield, stopping boundaries. I can't fault our commitment. We were out there trying to win the test match. I think there was only one team out there today trying to win it, and we weren't quite able to do that. But as I said, I can't fault the commitment of our players. Can't fault the preparation, the work from the support staff. Everybody has worked really hard to get this 1-0 victory, and we're going to celebrate a series win.
It's obviously always quite a complicated thing to manage, but what have you made of the use of the DRS in this series? Because I know there are a few decisions which, had you had reviews available, might have gone your way.
Yeah, I probably can't comment on that because I'll get into big trouble. Each series it does cost a lot of money to set up the cameras and to have the technology here available to us, and to only be able to use it for two appeals or 2 correct appeals is, I think, ludicrous, considering that you have $400,000 worth of machinery around and you can't use it. That doesn't quite make sense. But we've got to be smarter, and we've got to understand that we do only have 2 reviews. But look, I don't know. There's a lot of things that I found it to be a little inconsistent as well. These 2 tests. There was a lot of on the Snicko. There was a lot of waves and murmurs. They say spikes or whatever it is. And some days there were plenty. Some days there were none when someone's smashing the inside edge onto their pad. So it doesn't provide an exact result, but it gives you an idea. I suppose, looking back, we've just got to be a little bit better in the way we use it.
Since you just mentioned the amount of money it costs to put up the DRS, what would be a comfortable number of reviews that you'd say that you would be looking forward to in a test match?
Well, from my understanding, the technology has been incorporated into the game of cricket to stop the absolute howler. Umpires, they're only human, I understand, and they do make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I continue to make mistakes in life, so it's not a dig at anyone whatsoever. But you know, it's there to stop the absolute howler. And if you're unable to use it when there are decisions that you feel, you know, you've been hard done by, you can't use it. Well, I think it's something that, you know, must be looked at.
Now that the series is done, you being an international player, what would be your advice to Zimbabwe on how to probably win matches early at home? What would be your advice to Zimbabwe on how to go away?
You know, I think the challenge for Zimbabwe, I mean, they've just come back into Test cricket. As I said before, they've got a number of really high-class players. Brendan Taylor's been around for a while and scored a lot of runs in international cricket. Grant Creamer's done fantastically well. Craig Irvine, you know, it looks a class act. Raz has been brilliant this series. The challenge is always going away from home, and to play your cricket on slow, turgid, nothing wickets. It's not really going to set yourself forward and continue your growth to win games of cricket. Look, I just think that, you know, I'm a big believer. You know, we have issues all around the world with the quality of pitches, particularly when a touring team lands on your shores. And you know, I just like to see a more even contest between bat and ball. You know, we've come from England where the ball was swinging and seaming. It provided great cricket. It really did. You know, there's a lot of people out there saying that Test cricket's dying. On a pitch like that, yeah, it is. No disrespect to, you know, they played the conditions. They you know, utilised what they had to get ahead. But for the growth of the sport, to continue the growth of the sport, I think we need to be playing on better pitches.
Finally, from me, I would ask, you guys came from England with the same team, and you're going to New Zealand this next stop, but you're going to camp in Australia. Is this pretty much the West Indies team that we'll be seeing for the future, or there probably might be one or two changes going into New Zealand?
I'm just waiting on a phone call to find that out, mate. The chairman of selectors, Courtney Brown's giving me a call any tick of the clock. Look, I've made it pretty open, pretty clear to the chairman of selectors and the selection panel that, look, I think this group that we have together is worth working with. You know, it's a short turnaround between now and New Zealand as well. To bring someone else in, or, you know, a number of players in, would be, I don't think it'd be you know, a great move in the sense that, you know, we'd have to start again with those players. The players we got here, we're starting to make strides. We're starting to go forward. We competed very well in England. We won a Test match there. We've now come to Zimbabwe away from home. We've won a series. I just think it'd be great if we could keep the same group of guys together. Those guys who have struggled, you know, in the next Test match, they might be our heroes. You know, they got that sort of ability. So, look, it's a fine line. I understand that some people out there are saying that we need to chop and change and do this, but I think if we keep the same group together, we learn together, we start becoming one, we'll start putting more results on the board.
Fast bowling in this series, fast bowling. What do you make of your fast bowlers?
Look, credit where credit's due. On very slow, low wickets, you know, to have Shannon Gabriel and Kemar Roach doing what they did out there was outstanding. Great to watch. When the ball was flying through, it excites everybody at the ground. You know, you could hear the crowd getting behind it as well. So look, they toiled manfully out there in these conditions. First Test match was very hot. Very dry. You know, they kept coming. They didn't give up. Every time they got the ball in the hand, they answered the call from the captain. So, look, those guys have been great, and the captain himself in this Test match, you know, 100 in the first innings, and he bowled beautifully as well. Once again, in tough conditions. Look, I can't be more proud of our boys. The fast bowlers get a rough end of the stick on these types of pitches, but in the end, it proved hard for the spinners as well. It was that slow. You know, the batsmen had time to adjust every time it moved. So, look, all in all, we played well. You know, very pleased where we are. Our fast bowlers are quality. I bet they're looking forward to going to New Zealand.
Thanks.
All right, Mark.
Thanks.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
Headquarters. course, Stuart Law.
5 international ministries Shange takaungana pa Zimbabwe College of Music. Tinoti one night with the king. Patinenge takaungana na baba vedu Apostle Dr. Professor Raymond Mjay, the Oracle of God naika. Pamwe chete na mama vedu Prophetess Agrita Mjay. So 3 November it's a night with the king. Roba change tichitanga naiko pa Zimbabwe College of Music 7 p.m. Shikamangwana acho na 8 a.m. Uyemaka wandaka unochaga okuyana ukausuyeurwanika.
What does it mean to be Zimbabwean? To be Zimbabwean is to carry the mark of leadership. And leadership begins when you embrace your purpose and take responsibility. These times we're living in are evidence that each one of us was born in this generation for a great purpose. A purpose to shape Zimbabwe's future, a responsibility to carry the promise and live in the Zimbabwe we want. Zimbabwe is waiting for a generation of people who understand the meaning of standing up. You are the stepping stone, the one with the flame of inspiration, the one with the passion, the one who has what it takes to move Zimbabwe forward. It's time to stand up and do what is right. It's time to rise and do your part. It's beyond a privilege. It's an inheritance, a pledge that everyone has to make. So rise, Zimbabwe. Simuka, Zimbabwe. Pakama, Zimbabwe. It's time to pledge, register, and go vote.
Have a goodly heritage. I'm called and I'm chosen. My lines are falling in pleasant places. I'm His glory, His royal diadem. I'm a partaker of the divine nature, joined as with Christ. I'm His workmanship. I'm from above, I hail from heaven. Abraham's blessings are mine. That's what the word says.
This livecast has been powered by ZimdiTv News, a division of Sly Media Productions, specialists in social media streaming and in-house TV productions. This livecast has been powered by ZimdiTv News, a division of Sly Media Productions, specialists in social media streaming and in-house TV productions.